having another child. What do you guys think about
I
that?
didn't know he was capable of that.
Yeah,
He's not even capable of that.
Whoa.
Nowadays, you can make some stuff happen. Like,
Dog, your tubes are smithered off. Your tubes, whatever carries something or whatever, is gone now, dog.
He says he want to do it.
yo, go. No, I ain't said I wanted. I'm contemplating.
So, what does all this mean for Coach Prime? Deion Sanders may be a Hall of Famer, a college football powerhouse, and a man known for his flashy confidence, but at the end of the day, he's just a dad and now, a grandfather trying to figure it all out like the rest of us. His recent baby comment might have started as a joke, but it opened the door to a much bigger picture. A picture full of love, laughter, misunderstandings, old wounds, and healing. His son's reactions to the baby news were both hilarious and telling. Shiloh and Shadur weren't just making jokes, they were expressing something deeper. Maybe they weren't ready for their dad to shift roles again. Maybe they were trying to protect the version of him they've grown up with. Or maybe, like most kids, they're just not ready to imagine their parent entering a whole new chapter that could change everything. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: the Sanders family is a strong mix of personalities, passions, and sometimes, pain. They're bold, outspoken, and real. They fight, they laugh, they tease, and they love. It's that complicated, messy beauty that makes them so relatable. Through the years, we've seen this family grow up in the spotlight on the field, on social media, and sometimes, in courtrooms or the comment sections. And we've seen how fame doesn't protect anyone from family struggles.
We've been working for him for years. Since high school, since youth, we take credit for, some of this contract. We kind of
Oh.
asked him for a little bit of percentage of it.
I mean, it is only right because you guys were the star.
I was the quarterback.
Right? It is only right. How much of a percentage do you think you're entitled to?
2%.
Every time I see y'all, you look good. So sometimes
We could look better.
If anything, it makes them harder. Being Deion Sanders' child comes with a spotlight that not all of them wanted. And as much as Deion tries to guide his kids, he's had to learn the hard way that love isn't always about control. It's about listening. It's about letting go. Deion's daughter Deandra has been open about her pain. She's talked about what it was like growing up with a dad who was larger than life, how she sometimes felt unseen in his shadow. Her journey into motherhood has been both powerful and emotional. She's determined to be the kind of parent who shows up, who listens, and who leads with heart. That's not a dig at Deion, it's just a reflection of how she's trying to do things her way. Then there's Deion Jr., the media-savvy, creative son who walked away from football to build his own brand. His distance from the family lately hasn't gone unnoticed. But instead of following in his dad's footsteps, he's carving out his own identity. And in a family where legacy looms large, that takes courage.
Me and my brother Shadur was over here talking about a method we were, debating about. But you said you don't jack off, or you never jack off.
Oh my God! Bro! Ah! I didn't know this was that type of show!
No, I'm just saying, that's what me and Shadur.
I seen this show on TikTok.
Shiloh, the firecracker of the bunch, has never been afraid to speak his mind even if it ruffles feathers. His love-hate banter with his dad may seem playful, but it often reflects real tension. He wants to be more than Coach Prime's son. He wants to be heard on his own terms. That rebellious streak? It's not just teenage drama, it's him fighting to be understood. Shadur is more reserved, but no less determined. As a rising football star with a clear path to the NFL, he's focused, disciplined, and all about business. Still, when his dad jokes about having another baby, he's quick to clap back with wit and that quiet confidence that makes him such a powerful presence. He respects his father, but he's not afraid to draw boundaries.
What is the order right now? Because it switches up all the
right
time.
now is Deandra. Right now.
Okay, of the boys.
That's a pretty good order right there.
From which way to which way?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a pretty good order right there. It's a pretty good order right there.
So do y'all call him dad or y'all call him coach?
It depends. If we're talking to someone who calls him Coach Prime, then I call him Coach Prime.
And then there's Shalomi, the youngest, who quietly made a bold move when she transferred schools against her father's wishes. In doing so, she made it clear she wants to live life on her own terms. And while Deion might have been disappointed, Shalomi's decision showed strength and independence. She's not just Coach Prime's daughter. She's an athlete, a student, and a young woman finding her voice. Through it all, there's a deeper lesson unfolding. As much as Deion is used to being the leader on the field, fatherhood has taught him that you can't coach your way through every relationship. His children aren't players on a team. They're individuals with dreams, fears, and opinions that don't always match his. But then came baby Snow. The birth of his grandson changed everything. Suddenly, Deion wasn't just thinking about wins and losses, or family legacy. He was holding a baby in his arms, remembering what it felt like to start fresh.
We said we're package deal, so we might package deal this thing. We might bring Coach Prime in a few years.
I can actually see that. I could
No,
actually.
they ain't bringing me in nowhere. That's not happening. I would bring them in somewhere.
Oh.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, his contract's for 5 years, so I have that after.
Whoa.
Okay.
Dang, you read his contract?
Oh, it was
ran
highlighted.
something. And one of my great friends.
That moment opened a new part of his heart. Maybe that's what sparked the thought, could I do this one more time? Maybe it wasn't just about wanting another child. Maybe it was about wanting another chance. A chance to do it differently. Slower. Softer. With more time and less pressure. But his sons, with their sharp humor and side eyes, weren't having it. They told him in the most loving, hilarious way possible, "Dad, you've already built the team. Now it's time to enjoy the sidelines." And honestly, maybe they're right. Deion has poured so much into building his legacy. Now, as a grandfather, he has a chance to build something even more lasting, connection. Not with fans. Not with trophies. But with the people who know him best, his kids, and now, his grandchild. At 57, Deion still has the energy of someone half his age. But as his family grows, it's not just about energy anymore, it's about intention. Being present. Being honest. And letting go of the need to control every play.
Sister.
What's up? How are you feeling?
Good.
I was so mad at Shalomi the other day. I kept calling him to check on him. And he didn't hit me back for 4 days.
No, it wasn't 4 days.
I called you like every day, and I text you, and you just never
What
responded.
phone did you call?
I feel the same way.
It's to where I hit up even both of them. Like one day,
Why don't you call FaceTime?
The Sanders family might not be perfect, but they're a powerful reminder that behind every great man is a story full of mistakes, lessons, and love. Deion Sanders is more than just Coach Prime. He's a father learning to listen, a grandfather learning to love in new ways, and a man realizing that legacy isn't just about what you leave behind, it's about who you walk beside while you're still here. So now, after all the laughs, the jokes, and the eye rolls from his sons, the question still hangs in the air: is Deion Sanders really thinking about having another baby at 57? And even more important, what does that say about where he is in life right now? To the outside world, Deion Coach Prime Sanders is a football legend. He's flashy. He's loud. He's confident. He walks into a room and instantly becomes the center of attention. But when you look a little closer, you start to see the man behind the legend. The father. The grandfather. The human being who's trying to figure out how to stay connected to the people who matter most, his family. What made this story so funny, and so touching at the same time, is that it gave us a rare peek into that softer side of Deion.
Little baby. Good little baby. Hey, let's see how tall you gonna be now.
I know.
For once, he wasn't barking plays from the sidelines or doing interviews about recruiting top athletes. He was sitting with his sons, talking like any other dad would, wondering out loud if he still had it in him to raise a baby again. And just like any kids would, his sons shut him down real quick, with jokes that had the whole internet cracking up. But behind the laughs, there's a real story here, a story about growth, love, and learning to let go. For years, Deion Sanders was the one calling the shots. Whether it was on the field, at home, or even in the media, he led with confidence and control. His kids grew up knowing their dad was a superstar, someone who demanded excellence and didn't take shortcuts. But as those same kids became adults, things started to shift. They didn't just want to be part of his team anymore, they wanted to build their own lives, with their own dreams, their own choices, and sometimes even their own mistakes. That's a hard pill to swallow for any parent, especially one as driven and hands-on as Deion. That's a hard pill to swallow for any parent, especially one as driven and hands-on as Deion. You see it in his relationship with Deandra, his oldest daughter. She's been very open over the years about how tough it was growing up with a dad who was more focused on his career than her emotions. She's said it herself, being the daughter of a legend doesn't always feel like a blessing. Sometimes it's a lonely place. But now, as a new mom herself, Deandra is stepping into her own spotlight. Baby Snow changed her, and in a way, she's teaching her dad something he might not have known he needed to learn: how to just be present. Then there's Deion Jr., who chose a completely different path from his dad. While football runs deep in the Sanders bloodline, so maybe his comment about having another baby wasn't so much about actually becoming a new dad, it was more about holding on to the feeling of love, purpose, and connection. Maybe he just wants to feel needed again. Maybe he's realizing that life isn't about what's next, but about enjoying what's already here. And his kids get that. That's why they reacted the way they did, not because they don't love him, but because they do. They want him to relax, to enjoy being a grandfather, to be present, not stressed, to let go of the idea that he has to do more to be enough. Because he already is. The world sees Deion Sanders as a larger-than-life figure. But his family sees something else. They see the man who tucks in his grandbaby. The man who tries, and sometimes fails, to connect with his grown kids. The man who's learning how to be more than just Coach Prime. And that's what makes this story so special. It's not just about a baby. It's about a man growing into a new chapter. A chapter filled with laughter, forgiveness, and second chances. So, should Deion Sanders really have another baby? Maybe not. But maybe, just maybe, he's already building something even more powerful, a stronger bond with the family he has. And that's worth more than any headline. Because in the end, life isn't about how many touchdowns you score, it's about who's still cheering you on when the game is over. Thanks for watching, and if you loved this deep dive into the real-life story of the Sanders family, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We've got more powerful celebrity family stories coming your way. And tell us in the comments, what would you do if your dad wanted a baby at 57? Until next time, stay real, stay kind, and keep your family close.